Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my class. We have Unit 4, Lesson 1. We're going to be talking about the surface area, and we're going to be talking about Part 1 today. We're just going to be doing rectangular prisms. So maybe you're given a problem like how much ink is on a cereal box, or maybe how much wrapping paper do you need for a present, or maybe how much paint for a box truck, or anything like that. Anytime that you're dealing with a type of cube or rectangular prism and you're trying to figure out how much area covers the figure, we're talking about surface area. So you might get a problem like this. Jimmy has a toy in a box that he wants to wrap as a gift. So it's for like a birthday gift. The dimensions of the box are 10 inches by 4 inches by 5 inches. He only has 300 square inches of wrapping paper. Will he have enough? Tune in. Okay, so surface area is basically the area covering each face of a three-dimensional figure. For us, it's the rectangular prism. And so I need to find it of this face, this face, this face, this face, this face, a total of 6 faces. Now what you'll notice in your notes, this is the part, the orange sheet in your notes, is that you will have a 6x2, and then parallel to it on the other side, you also have a 6x2. And for the base, the 3x2, you also have the top as a 3x2. And then in the back, you'll have a 6x3. And then you have in the very front, you'll have a 6 centimeter height by a 3 centimeter base. What I'm saying is this. Every face on a rectangular prism will have a congruent pair, another face that's parallel to it. We call them the bases. Okay, so for instance, if I'm looking at this guy right here, I'm looking at this one being congruent with this one, and this one being congruent with this guy, and then this face here being congruent with the other. And so I don't have to find the area of every single one. What I can do is I can find the area of one shape and then multiply it by how many it is congruent to. So if I look at this, I would take 6 times 3, or 18 times 2. And so I could add them all together, finding them out separately, or I can do it this way. I find out my area and I double it. Here's 2 that are congruent. These were my 2 faces here in the white and here in the center white. Here is the other one, or 2 pairs of the blue. And then we had a pair of the red. And so we have one side, so I would call that side A. So 2A plus 2B, or not to be, and 2C. So we're going to take 3 congruent pairs. Jimmy has a toy in a box he wants to wrap as a gift. This is going to be our example problem in the notes. The dimensions of the box are 10 by 4 by 5. He only has 300 square inches of wrapping paper. Will he have enough? Okay, so surface area is the combined area covering the surface of a three-dimensional figure. I look at my box. This is my toy box here, and I'm going to change these to inches. But what I notice is the bottoms are congruent because the bases are the same. The sides are congruent because otherwise they would fold on top of each other and one would be bigger than the other. So the sides are congruent, and they're congruent to their parallel side. So this one right here that's shaded is congruent to the one that we can't see that's dotted on the other side. So all I need to do is find the area of 3 of those figures, and then add them, and then multiply each one by 2. That's going to give me 2 shapes of that same area. So I look at this, my tops I see is a 4 by 5. So the area of A, I'm writing this down in my notes, is base times height, which equals 5 times 4. And that's going to equal 20. Now it's 20 inches squared. We're going to set that up. Now I got B, which I'm going to make red. Okay, that's our 10 by 4 base times height. right? Because it's a rectangular prism, it's rectangles, equals 10 times 4, and that's equaling 40. Okay, now we got area of C, which is in yellow. I'm going to make it in blue, so we have a different color. And that's also a rectangle, so it's base times height. Let's take a look at its dimensions here. If this is 10, this would also be 10. Now, if I take a look here, this was a 5 by 4, so this was 4 inches, because these fold together. When they fold up, the one goes up here, this is the back, and then the red goes from here and connects. So you see how this side, that 4-inch side connects. So this is our 4-inch side here, and this is our 5-inch base. You see it in the front. All right? So if that's 5 and this is 10, we're going to do 5 times 10. That's going to give me 50. All right? So now what I do is I take my sides and I double them. So we got 2a plus 2b plus 2c. Now I already did a, but I'm going to show you how it works. We got 20 times 2. Now simplified, you get 40. And so we get 120 plus 100, or 220 inches squared. I only have 300 square inches. Well, I had 220 when I figured out the area. So will I have enough? My answer is yes. I only need 220. Or he only needs, sorry. Alright, so figuring out the surface area of a figure is identify the area of each face of the prism. And so I figure out the area of those faces and then I add them together. And that's how I find the surface area of a prism.